Greetings, family. Peace and love to you and yours. This is Guru, and thanks for visiting my channel. Today's subject matter on Guru's channel is Knowledge is Power. We're featuring the book A Black History Reader, 101 Questions You Never Thought to Ask by Dr. Claud Anderson. Now, one of the chapters is titled, Which Ethnic or Racial Group in America Has a Proven Record of Being the Most Patriotic? So let's delve right into this subject matter. Patriotism is the devoted love, support, loyalty, and defense of one's country. It is ironic that after 24 generations of suffering slavery, Jim Crow segregation, and benign neglect public policies, Black Americans hold a proven and unchallengeable track record of patriotism that stands head and shoulders above any ethnic, racial, or religious group. They, or we, have proven ourselves the oldest and most patriotic group in a number of ways. First, blacks were the unpaid labor engine that drove the socio-economic development of this nation. Blacks were the unpaid labor class that cleared the land, raised the crops, and built the roads, bridges, canals, and public buildings. Black people's blood, sweat, and tears and overworked bodies forever connected us to this nation's land. So you see, when white people or Europeans, and at this point I am delving into my own opinion on this, but when white people tell black people to go to Africa or go back to Africa, they tend to forget that we were here long before they got here, or at least most of them anyways. We've been here longer than most of them. So for them to tell us to go back to Africa is comical. But I digress. Let's delve back into Dr. Claud Anderson's book, A Black History Reader, 101 Questions You Never Thought to Ask. Again, by Dr. Claud Anderson. It continues. The second reason blacks are the most patriotic group is that over 99% of them in America are direct descendants of slaves, which means they were here building and fighting for this nation before 99% of the Europeans, Asians, Hispanics, or their descendants ever arrived in this country. The third reason blacks are the most patriotic group is that they are the only population group that has fought in every military engagement and major war in defense of this country since it was founded. Remember, it was Crispus Attucks, a black man, who was the first to die in the Revolutionary War of Independence. Fourth, and most notably of all the major racial and ethnic groups in America, Black Americans are probably the only group whose countries of origin have not engaged in the United States in a war. Let me repeat. Black Americans are probably the only group whose countries of origin have not engaged the United States in a war. That's right. Let's clear the air and make things clear. You see, Dr. Claud Anderson breaks it down quite nicely. You see, through the centuries, the United States has engaged in wars with Spain, England, France, Canada, Germany, China, Cuba, Puerto Rico, Mexico, Korea, Japan, Italy, Russia, the islands of the Pacific, Vietnam, American Indians, and a host of Middle Eastern countries. It has never been in a declared war with a black African country. what other racial or ethnic group can make that claim? That's a very, very good question, family. Dr. Claud Anderson breaks that down nicely, and he points it out very crystal clear that no African countries have engaged the United States in a war like all the other countries of all the other ethnic groups that the United States happens to give privileges to over us, over black Americans. Now, if you watch or if you follow and pay attention to Tariq Nasheed and saw the interview with Dr. Claud Anderson, he touched on the subject that I also spoke about in another one of my videos, and that is on the subject of calling ourselves Black Americans. I thought he broke that point down very clearly, very nicely. It does point to the fact that Black Americans do in fact have a very, very unique history in the United States. And that's why we need to pay attention to that. We need to stake claim to that, and we need to claim what is rightfully ours here, right in our own country. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise, that it is not. This is our country. We have fought and we have died for this country. Why would you stop now? I digress. Back to the point. Back to the story. Dr. Claud Anderson points out that ironically, ethnic groups from all the countries that the United States has fought throughout history can easily migrate into the United States and immediately rank higher in social acceptability than native Black Americans. Now, I just spoke previously on that point, and it's a shame. I mean, a crying shame. Especially the fact that we are the most loyal patriots of this nation. Unlike others, he continues, blacks did not voluntarily migrate to America, but they cherished the United States with all of its moles and blemishes, because with all of its flaws, it is the country that our labor built. I repeat, unlike others, blacks did not voluntarily migrate to America, but we cherish the United States with all of its moles and blemishes, because with all of its flaws, it is the country that their labor built. America is the only home that they have known. Lastly, Black Americans are models of what a truly patriotic group ought to be. White Southerners as a class are disqualified because their attack on the Union triggered the Civil War and made them the nation's first terrorists. Their continued affection for Dixie, denial of constitutional rights to black citizens, and rhetoric of political succession represents continued anti-American behavior, not patriotism. This is Guru. I thank you for watching this channel. I thank you for listening. I especially want to give a special shout out and thanks to Dr. Claud Anderson for writing a particularly needed, much needed work of art. This book is a gem, and I would highly recommend it to anyone. Again, it's called A Black History Reader, 101 Questions You Never Thought to Ask. And that is by Dr. Claud Anderson. And with that, I'd like to give him a round of applause, first of all. And give him a little clap here and there. Let him know that this is definitely appreciated. his hard work he put into this book. And I think people really should pick it up and read it. Again, thanks for watching. Peace and love to you and yours. Until the next video, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next video. Peace out.